Okay, hi everyone, welcome. I'm Richelle from Pregnant to Parent, and welcome. This is the first From Pregnant to Parent Presents. So we've been doing a few live discussions for a little while, and we're gonna pivot a little bit to bring you something that's a bit more on demand that you can watch on your own time when you're ready to, and of course always around for follow-up questions, their DMs, their email. Definitely make sure to drop some contact information down below so that you can easily reach out. For those of you who are new to From Pregnant to Parent, I'm Richelle, childbirth educator, working on getting my doula certification as well. So that's an exciting new offering that's going to be coming up down the pipeline. And I'm located out in the Bay Area. Today I'm chatting with Jamie from Oh Baby Consulting. She's a sleep coach who's going to tell you a little bit more about herself.
Yeah, hi guys. Thanks so much, Richelle. I'm so excited to be here. I love connecting with new parents and talking all things sleep. I'm a huge sleep nerd. But yes, I am Jamie. I am a pediatric sleep consultant. I work with families, tired families who have babies who are struggling with sleep. I also work with prenatal families, getting them ready and educated for what to expect in the newborn stage when it comes to newborn sleep. And a little bit of background about me. I have a bachelor's in psychology and a master's in child development, and started out as a classroom teacher. I taught pre-K and realized that I wanted to be a little bit more hands-on with families than just spending, 3 or 4 hours every day with these kiddos. And so I transitioned into social work. I was a social worker for a few years, did some in-home work with families, and really saw the desperate need for sleep education. And it was a need that I couldn't fill. I didn't have the training or the information, the education around the importance of sleep, but I saw what was happening when we weren't getting enough of it and when families weren't getting enough of it. So that really sparked my interest, and I started consuming more information about sleep and learning more about it. And then I found this whole world of sleep consulting, and that there were people out there who could specialize in sleep and help parents get the sleep they needed. And so that's really kind of what brought me to this field. I was trained under Dana Obelman, who is the creator of the Sleep Sense method. And I did extensive training with her, was under her mentorship for a year. I now am part of the Association of Professional Sleep Consultants. I'm the blog director for them. And like I said, I'm a huge sleep nerd and just cannot get enough of sleep. So that's a little bit more about me. And my biggest message for you, if you're listening to this, if you're tired, is to remember that sleep isn't a privilege. Just because you're a parent doesn't mean you have to be sleep deprived. Sleep deprivation is a form of torture. Sleep is a biological necessity. It is so, so important for our mental health, our emotional health, our physical health, our baby's growth and development. So don't think that just because you're a parent, you aren't going to sleep again, because there's absolutely help out there.
That's such an important thing to bring up too, because it seems like sometimes we almost wear that, right, as a badge of honor as new parents, of just being this exhausted and this worn out, and like that's just the way that it's supposed to be.
Right. And it doesn't have to be.
Yeah. So it's so wonderful. What a cool background you have that's brought you here. That's really neat.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit. Sometimes we hear, I know a lot of times I hear from new parents in those first couple days or weeks, aside from maybe having nights and days flipped upside down, we kind of hear a lot of, oh, my baby's already a great sleeper. And then we kind of get a couple weeks, a couple months down the road, and it seems like all of a sudden the wheels came off, and you kind of get this thought and this question of, what do you mean I have to teach my kid how to sleep? We sleep. That's just a natural thing, right? We don't have to teach our kids how to sleep. So what's going on there in that first year, that we're seeing these kind of ups and downs?
Yeah, and that's such a good point. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that sleep is a skill, just like rolling or sitting up or walking. And if we don't allow our babies to practice these things, they won't know how to do it well. And so what oftentimes happens is babies are born and they're super, super sleepy. I mean, that's really normal. They need a ton of sleep because there's so much input they're getting. There's so much development going on. There's so much growth happening. So babies need a lot of sleep. And we're going to get a little bit into the science here, but when newborns are born and up through about the first 10 weeks or so, they sleep very, very deeply. They actually have 2 cycles of sleep, both of which are pretty deep. Whereas older babies and adults have 4 cycles of sleep, and they range from light to deep. So when babies are newborns, they sleep much more deeply. They can often fall asleep anywhere. I mean, you might be in the middle of a crowded restaurant and your baby is conked out, next to you. And you're like, how can she sleep, in this environment? But they really are able to sleep pretty well almost anywhere. Now, certainly they might need a lot of help to get to sleep because this is still something very new to them to transition from one state to another. But once they're asleep, they usually stay, asleep pretty well. Around 12 to 16 weeks, we start to see sleep cycles mature and babies' sleep organization start to become more adult-like. And this is more commonly known as the 4-month sleep regression. And a lot of times this is when parents will reach out to me and say, my newborn was a great sleeper and all of the sudden she's up 5, 6, 7 times a night, or I can't get her to nap more than 10 minutes. And when babies undergo these biological shifts that happen at 4 months, it's kind of a 2 sides to one coin. On the one side, they become a lot more capable of sleeping longer, more consolidated stretches. They become more capable of sleeping through the night. They don't need to wake so frequently to eat. But on the flip side of that coin, they're also spending a lot more time in lighter stages of sleep. And once they are in lighter stages of sleep, they become a lot more dependent on what put them to sleep in the first place to get them back to sleep. So if your baby is feeding and falls asleep at your breasts, or while you're giving them a bottle, or you're rocking them and they fall asleep, and then you place them in the crib, after about 30 to 45 minutes, which is the completion of one mature sleep cycle, they kind of have this brief wake up and they kind of look around and assess their environment and say, is this what I remember? Is this the last thing I remember? And by the way, we do this as adults too. We just don't remember it. We just roll back over and keep on sleeping as long as it's still dark, our partner is still next to us, the fan is still on, the pillow's still on our bed. As long as all of those things are in place, we just keep sleeping. But for babies, if the last thing they remember is being in mom's arms or having a bottle in their mouth or being rocked, it's going to be really startling for them when they wake up and all of a sudden those things aren't in place. And now they're up fully awake. And because they needed certain things to be in place in order to get into their sleep cycle, in order to fall asleep in the first place, they're going to need those again in order to get back into their sleep cycle. So that's oftentimes when parents will reach out to me and say, it seems like my little one is waking up very frequently and they don't know how to get back to sleep unless I do what I did at bedtime or go in and rock, hold, bounce, feed, those types of things.
That makes sense. Let's come back to this idea of like when parents are consistently, when you're seeing parents reach out to you most often. But before we go there, what are some of those things that you suggest that parents do while they're in the newborn stage just to help get ready for that 3-month, 4-month leap?
Shift. Yeah, that's a good question. So the first thing I always recommend doing for parents of newborns, and this is going to make sleep a lot easier in the newborn stage as well, is to make sure they're following wake windows. And what that means is that they're napping their baby or they're putting their baby down to sleep after a certain amount of time, because babies need a lot of sleep. And sometimes if we surpass the amount of time that babies are capable of staying awake in between periods of sleep, they start to melt down and they get overtired. And all of a sudden they are fighting sleep and they're fussy and they're screaming and they're very colicky. So one of the things that you can do to help make sleep a little bit easier is to follow awake windows. And for a newborn, that's really only about 45 minutes to an hour or so. So that really only leaves you enough time to change a diaper, get a feeding in, maybe a few minutes of playtime, and then it's time to swaddle them back up and put them down. And what this will do is make falling asleep easier. So you can get your baby drowsy and lay them down before they're totally asleep. And because they're not overtired, they have a better chance of, I call it, finishing the process and just taking themselves from that drowsy state to that sleeping state. And that repetition and practice over weeks and months in the newborn stage is super duper helpful when now we're asking them to do it from a more awake state when they're a little bit older.
That makes perfect sense. Now, what about for the mom who says, but I want to have that time, that baby wearing or cuddling, maybe some skin to skin napping, some of that. Is there a way to do both?
Absolutely. And I never want parents to feel like they can't have those yummy newborn cuddles or they can't do all those wonderful, wonderful things. And there absolutely is a balance for parents of babies about 6 weeks. This is usually when I recommend starting to practice some of these more intentional, putting down drowsy type of strategies. I usually recommend practicing it at bedtime. That's a really important thing. We want babies to learn how to fall asleep on their own so they can sleep long stretches at night. And oftentimes it's much easier to practice these things for like the first nap or two of the day. So those are the times when babies are oftentimes going to get the best quality sleep, or it's going to be a little bit easier because they still have some of the nighttime sleep pressure working in their system. So it's a lot easier for them to go down on their own. And then for later naps, when it's a lot harder to get them down on their own, go ahead and baby wear, go ahead and hold, go ahead and snuggle and get all that yummy stuff in the afternoon. So you can absolutely have a balance.
Perfect. So now let's fast forward. Now we're getting towards that 12-week mark where we're changing over, maybe even beyond that point. What is usually the impetus or the driver that gets most people picking up the phone or sending that email to say help?
Yeah, no, good question. So oftentimes it's a pretty sudden shift. All of the sudden, their baby who might have gone down easily at bedtime, slept until 4 or 5 a.m., had a feed and went back down easily, is now really fighting bedtime. All of the strategies that worked, the rocking, the feeding, the things that would help them fall asleep are now not working. Or maybe they're working, but now instead of waking up at 4 or 5, baby's waking up at 10, and then at 12, and then at 2. So they're waking up more frequently. I also see naps starting to become a huge battle, taking longer to put them down to sleep for a nap than they're actually sleeping for a nap. So all of those things kind of coming to a head gets parents to reach out and say, something is not right. Something is not the same as it was when my baby was 8 weeks old or 10 weeks old, and we need help.
And we hear a lot about that 4-month sleep regression, but that's not the only sleep regression that parents might run into, right? I remember being really surprised going through my own son's first year of life and realizing, like every couple of months or so, it seemed like we'd be back on Google, like, is there another sleep regression? And it seemed like you could almost find an article for every month,
Right, exactly. And so sleep regressions, the only true biological, if you will, sleep regression is that 4-month one, because there is actually these huge biological changes going on. Later sleep regressions, I actually like to call progressions. And it's because sleep regressions, as long as it's not related to like an illness and that has derailed sleep, or maybe you're traveling time zones and that derailed sleep a little bit, true derailment of sleep, true regressions, often come from developmental milestones and progressions in development. And so sure, they can happen at any month just based on when your baby is moving through these developmental milestones. So for example, usually around 3 to 5 months, we see rolling start to disrupt sleep. Closer to 6 to 8 months, we might see some sitting up. 9 to 10 months, we might see some pulling to stand, and then the onset of independent walking, cognitive developments, language bursts, all of those physical and cognitive and emotional developments compete with sleep for brain space. And novelty always wins 100% of the time. So that's why we oftentimes see babies fighting sleep or up more often, because their brain is so preoccupied with this new skill. So what I tell parents to do when they kind of are in the midst of something like this is to do a ton of practice of that new skill during the day, because as soon as the novelty wears off, baby should go back to sleeping normally. And as long as parents don't introduce any habits that they don't intend to keep after these developments are past, babies usually go back to sleeping beautifully. And usually it only takes about 1 to 2 weeks max to kind of go through this process, as long as there's not other stuff going on.
Got it. So lots of practice with those new skills during the day, maybe some patience, right? Not diving off and trying something new. What other tips do you have for parents who feel like they're up against a progression? I like how you put that, a progression versus a regression.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely making sure that there's nothing schedule related that needs to change. So as babies grow and get older, their stamina is going to improve, and they might need more time awake in order to get all the play and the mental stimulation that they need to sleep well. So like I said, newborns need 45 to 60 minutes of awake time, whereas a 6-month-old needs like 2.5 hours of awake time in order to get all the work done that they need to do before they go down to sleep. So making sure that scheduling considerations are kind of under control, and also making sure that you have some nice predictable routines around sleep. So whether that's a nap time routine that you always do or a bedtime routine that you always do, that can really help kids to shift gears. And if that's something you establish at the very beginning of your baby's life, like within the first couple of weeks, this is going to be such a big cue to their brain and body that sleep is coming, and it can really, really help calm their brain down enough to settle into sleep.
That makes sense. Just like we always hear for us, right? Put away that phone. Try to give yourself a little wind down time, get yourself ready. We don't expect to just like hit our heads on the pillow and fall asleep, right?
Right,
so,
exactly.
No, that totally makes sense.
Exactly.
So if a parent's ready to reach out to a sleep coach, what does that usually look like to work with a sleep coach? What do you, what can that look like? What do you usually do?
Good question.
Virtually?
Yeah, so every sleep coach is a little bit different, and I will speak to kind of about what I do when I work with parents. And the first step is always chatting on the phone, because I know that investing in a sleep coach and signing someone up to invite into your family is a huge decision. And I want to make sure that we're a good fit, right? So I always chat with families on the phone. I want to learn about what they're specifically struggling with, kind of share with them what I'm thinking is going on, and then talk a little bit about their goals and what they're hoping to see. And if those are a good match with what I can help them with, I'll usually walk them through my process. And the way I work with families when I do work with them one-on-one is by having them fill out an extensive questionnaire. The way I look at sleep is like a big puzzle. There are lots of different factors that impact sleep success. Everything from independent sleep strategies to schedule considerations to conducive sleep routines to sleep environment. There's so many things that go into making sleep a little bit easier for your family, and I want to make sure that I address all pieces of the puzzle. So I use the information that parents provide to me about their specific situation and their specific child to create a personalized plan for them. It's going to walk them through not just how we're going to teach them to sleep, but why these things are important and how they're actually going to help, in addition to what steps to take. Then parents will have about an hour-long consultation with me, and we'll really go through that plan with a fine-tooth comb, and I'll explain everything that we're going to do to help them reach their sleep goals. But the best part about working with me and other sleep coaches who provide follow-up support, not just a plan, is that we actually get to do this together. So even though I might work with families virtually, especially now given everything that's going on, technology is amazing, and we stay in touch every single day through email. I use Voxer for voice messaging. I actually track baby's sleep on a digital sleep tracking log so I can monitor progress and give feedback. And families really, really feel supported during this process and aren't left alone wondering, how do I handle this situation? Or what do I do if this happens? I'm really right there in their back pocket, coaching them and guiding them and answering their questions. And so, like I said, every sleep coach is different. Some will come to your home and stay the night. Some just provide a plan. But I find this really beautiful middle ground that helps parents kind of take control and empowers them to teach their baby the skill of sleep, which is going to be a skill that stays with them for the rest of their lives.
I love that. I know it's been interesting around here with raising my own son. It's so much easier to find information now than it was 30 years ago, you know, when my mom was doing this with me. So it's really funny. We've been going through this, and I've been sharing a lot of my own learnings and stuff with her. And it's funny, I'm not a great sleeper. And so it's funny for us to have these conversations. And she's like, oh yeah, no, I wish we would have known that. I wish we would have done that.
Right, exactly.
And she's like, I feel like I did you a disservice.
But we only can do the best we can with what we know.
Absolutely.
Right? And 30 years, I mean, my parents were the same way. I was talking with them about my younger sister, and they were saying she had a lot of sleep struggles, and at 13 months, they decided to move her into a bed instead of a crib. And I was like, what's that? And they talked about how hard it was to keep her in that bed, because at 13 months, she was just like, cool, I can get up and play in the middle of the night. And all they were doing was the best they knew how to do with the information they have. And that's really kind of my goal, just in general, in addition to working one-on-one with parents, but even through my blog and my Instagram, is just to give parents more information, more tools in their toolbox to be the best parents that they can be. That's it.
I love that. And you are doing something new now, right, with the boot camp coming up. So tell us a little bit about the boot camp.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, obviously I'm always providing one-on-one consultations and private support, but I know that customized sleep plans and one-on-one support and all of that isn't the perfect fit for everyone. Sometimes people need a little bit less, and especially right now with so much uncertainty going on financially in our jobs and things like that, I really, really wanted to find a way to help as many families as I could. And obviously I'm just one person. So I figured out how to offer basically my framework, Oh Baby's sleep teaching framework for DIY sleep training. So if you are someone who is struggling with sleep, if you have a little one who is up at all hours of the night or is taking these micro cat naps, and you have been interested in sleep teaching, but don't feel like working one-on-one is right fit for your family, this is a great opportunity for you to get exactly what I would do in a group setting. So during the boot camp, which is going to run from April 26th through May 4th, parents can expect to receive a daily email from me covering a different piece of that sleep puzzle that I talked about. So every day is a different topic, and you will also be getting a 40+ page workbook that goes along with those daily emails to help you work through this process. And you'll become part of a private Facebook group with me where I'll be doing live videos and popping in and offering support and guidance and answering questions every day throughout the course of the boot camp. And there's also going to be some really exciting giveaways for some of my favorite baby products and some exclusive discount codes. So that's something to look forward to as well. But parents can honestly expect to get all the clarity they need to sleep train and solve their specific sleep struggles just during the course of this boot camp.
Awesome. So if somebody wants to sign up, how do they find you? We'll put a link down below too, but what are some ways? Through Instagram?
Yeah,
You've got it
absolutely.
in
So
the
I'm
bio.
on Instagram. My handle is obaby consulting, super easy. You can also go to my website at obabyconsulting.com and look around there. obabyconsulting.com/bootcamp will get you right to the bootcamp registration page. And yeah, we'll definitely drop a link there, but lots of different ways that you can find me.
Awesome. Super exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And registration will be open until Friday, this Friday, which I think is the 24th. And boot camp will start 2 days later on the 26th. So
Perfect.
I'm very excited for that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think even just this has been really helpful just to hopefully give people a good start on troubleshooting and figuring out what's going on, or even just to prepare parents who are expecting or, you know, or maybe just starting out on their parenting journey. So I really appreciate you taking the time and sitting down to answer some questions. Like I said, I'll drop some links down below so that you can easily find both of us. Go ahead and head over to the live discussion playlist if you're looking for some recordings of other lives that we've done. And I think that's it. Hopefully we'll both be connecting with you. Follow us along, like I said, links down below, and hopefully we'll be chatting with you all soon. Thanks so much, Jamie.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. This was great.
Yeah, have a great boot camp.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. Hope to see some of you there.